It's alright. I'm gonna make it on the morning flight. I'm gonna do all the things
You're
you
in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
One by one Kia full range of products embodies fundamental nutrients necessary to maintain beautiful and healthy hair care without having to combine an assortment of hair care products. The one by one Kia products are designed to rejuvenate, moisturize, create shine, fortify, and stimulate hair growth while leaving your hair feeling weightless and luxurious. Be sure to visit our website at www.onebywankaya.com and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at One by One Kia. Let's get your healthy hair care journey started today.
Oh Lord, yeah. We ready for the fight?
gotta hold on to me.
Special dedication
All
to
right,
all
all
our
right,
mattress
all
lane, but
right.
especially to Honey
All right, all right, all right.
and
It
to
is
them people
reggae
down there
month.
in Portmore.
It is a reggae month. It is
And
Black
Black History
History
Month
Month.
too.
It is Reggae Month, Black History Month. You're in tune right here to the Powerhouse Radio.
Hold on me.
It
Okay,
is
so
Reggae
since
Month.
we hollering at this reggae, right?
I'm sorry, I had to turn it
Are,
down.
are
What
we?
were you
Wait a
saying,
minute.
Acid?
Are we really hollering at this reggae?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's reggae month. So we're gonna be touching reggae, and more reggae. Okay, for this entire month, because it's not only Black History Month, it is also reggae month. So, we're gonna big it up, especially this Saturday coming. Oof, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be off the heezies. That's how
Okay,
they say
so
it.
what about the
Off the
Marley
heezies.
Coffee Company and all of that stuff?
The Marley Coffee Company. What's that?
Okay, we love our finance. So I just want to shout out to the Marley Coffee Company and all the people who are buying coffee because they love reggae.
Oh, because they love reggae.
It's shipped directly from Jamaica. The company is 3 years old.
Okay,
I
okay.
think one thing about it that probably more than anything else, people are buying it because it's sort of a souvenir. They see it as, it has Bob Marley on the bag, and then it does support the Bob Marley Foundation. His daughters got together and they worked it out. They said, hey, people are always stealing, the stuff from our family. So what we'll do is we'll just make something that everybody will buy. And I think more than anything, that's the way to really do it. We support, we're big on family business. Yep, we're busy adjusting cameras and trying to get angles right and stuff. It's different when you got to go and have people looking at you versus people hearing you.
It is. It is. It's a lot different, and I'm getting. I'm trying to get used to this, where I can show my face and all of these things.
She
But
says where she can show her face. Okay, live commercial. Here we go.
Well, okay, okay. Here we back. We're back. We're back live. What's that? Honey Child's Kitchen.
Got candy.
Say big up. We want to say big ups to one of our sponsors, Honey Child's Kitchen, as Mama Acid is wearing her Honey Child's Kitchen T-shirt. So we want
Yep.
to say to Honey Child's Kitchen and thanks
Get
for
you some candy.
support each and every week. Get you some candy. Well, Mama Acid is all about Reasoning Thursday. Each and every Thursday, we reason, and
Yes, we do.
you all could definitely link us. You could chat with us and all of these things, and comment, and we'll definitely respond. Okay, and
Oh, and next week we're gonna
once
be
again,
hollering back at Twitter Live too.
it is Reggae Month, and it is also Black History Month. And we touch on Mr. D Brown. We got to say happy birthday to D Brown. We got to say happy or what happy spiritual birthday to D Brown. And heavenly birthday as well to Bob Marley and all
All
of
month is Bob Marley.
so we just want to say big ups to all of the the legends in the reggae industry, and for all of our ancestors and Black historians that has been doing up their things for um forever.
Yeah,
Forever acid.
we've
But
been
we want to say
blessed. We got
welcome to
lineage.
our listeners and our viewers who are viewing us live on the YouTube, also on Facebook, and we're going to be going on Instagram soon. And yeah, so we're going to be all over the place pretty soon, Acid. But we have some reasoning. Let's get back to the reasoning. We have Windrush in your reasoning. We have Marjorie Taylor Greene. I just saw something just came up on my feed for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Murder in the church. Are we safe anywhere? Like, really? Are we? When is young too young for doing certain things? Yeah, I think. And is wholeness out? All right, is wholeness out? We I hope we maybe we can't answer, but we're gonna get all the answers down the road. But we putting it out there to each and every one. Well, Acid, you want to say hello to the listeners?
Habari gani?
What you said?
What's happening?
All
Okay,
right, what's
so
happening?
one of the things though I'm kind of curious about. I know that Atlanta is trying to learn to be a little more liberal with um gatherings, and it seems like a lot of the young people are just wanting to get out there in the streets and congregate, and they don't think about the other people who end up in that bubble with them. Because if they stop by your house and they want to use your bathroom because they ain't gonna make it home in time, you can't tell them no.
Yeah. So what you gonna tell
Use the one in the basement
them? Well,
and take that spray with you. I'm talking about the disinfectant Lysol spray. When you're
uh-huh.
going down the steps, you spray. When you use the bathroom, you spray. And then
Okay.
when you're coming back out, you spray and set it by the door when you're leaving.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
the only thing I can think of. I really am I'm challenged as to what to do because I had a pop-up visitor from Atlanta, and it really challenged me to think about the fact that people that live in more highly populated areas and that work with larger crowds, when they're in your family and you got to interact with them, you got to come up with your own safe protocol. So we really had a great time. I definitely got my hugs. I'm lacking in hugs. I'm not around people. So, being isolated, it really does take a toll on you emotionally. And then people out here chasing these vaccines. Can we start there?
Sure, we can start right there.
This whole show is pretty much about corruption.
Okay, so let's
We've been
just
talking about corruption for a long time.
let's just dig in there then.
So it looks like they got these people out here chasing vaccines, and what they're doing is they set up a network. I'm not on Facebook, but I'm sure that people on Facebook have found the network and the group where you can actually go and you can sign up and they'll notify you when there's a hospital or a doctor's office in your area where they are getting ready to shut down and they've got some doses left and the doses are good for a couple hours so you can rush up there and go get one. Honestly,
No dosage. I mean, there's absolutely nowhere. Here in Georgia, you can go on how many websites, and we still are unable to get the vaccination for even our clients. We have fragile individuals, and I even got up that morning at 6 o'clock when Publix opened up, and was giving seniors their shots. And I woke up early, and every time it just kept saying, "Wait till the screen refresh. Wait till the screen refresh." And by the time I spent around, it was after 7, and then they just
we're
put up on the
full.
screen, all booked out, all booked out.
Mhm. That
And so,
makes no sense. So the real root of that is kind of what we wanted to get to, which is a little bit of ugly corruption. Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, and yes, I am going to address him properly because he was the president. Now, the Biden administration got a very big surprise, just like the rest of us. We're out here chasing these vaccines, trying to get them. Donald Trump and them took the money. They did not even pay for the vaccines. They didn't pay for any of the PPE that they ordered. So Biden came in, nothing. They got bills, but they had no cash to pay any of the bills with because Trump absconded with more than $4 billion in vaccine money. We have looked at two stories, one in Washington Post. WAPO did an excellent coverage of it, and also New York Times. They took it apart like it was the bones out of a fish. They laid it out and they said what happened was the reason that Donald Trump had this boy Kushner in charge of everything was because he's a master at hiding funds. He is a grifter par excellence.
isn't Kushner Ivanka's husband?
Right. His father got a pardon this time too.
Say that again.
His father. He
Yeah,
Trump pardoned his father because he had been in jail
yeah.
for some really low down type, just guttural type stuff. And I really don't even want to get into it, but I'll just say that it just all grifters of a flock seem to all hang together.
Mhm.
It's a little sad to me, but it's also concerning because I know that all this money that they took, Mnuchin was also helping them shift these funds, and they hid the funds in a bank account that was created by Kushner Corporation. So when they were supposed to be paying for all this stuff, they were writing checks and putting that money in other places. So now they're trying to impeach Donald Trump for several things, but this grifting is not one of them. And quite honestly, all the deaths of American citizens that have occurred, I would some kind of way think they should be discussing that in the impeachment too. Because quite frankly, he destroyed the infrastructure of the United States for responding to emergencies like this, which was working just fine when he became president. He dismantled it and, in fact, defunded it and gave the funding to ICE to lock up kids and separate them from their parents.
Okay.
Some of
So,
them we know
so,
still have not been
so
found. That's another story for another day.
let's say the New York Post ran with the story. The New York Times ran with the story. Let's say that that's all,
Hmm.
$12 billion, and it has just disappeared unaccounted for, and so on. So, what exactly can be done, or what exactly is being proposed to be done to locate the money, to return the money, or persons to face criminal charges?
This is the best question of the day because right now there's no discussion quite at this point of how to handle it, simply because it hasn't even been touched on in Congress or the Senate. They're too busy dealing with other things like Marjorie Taylor Greene, another corrupt little pimple.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
We know
I
Donald Trump was a major hemorrhoid.
I received an update on her that she was removed from her committee.
Exactly.
Marjorie Taylor was removed from her committee assignments following full House votes. So they were able to remove her um, from any form of committees and anything. And I think that that's just right. When you're inciting violence and, um, you know, supporting baseless things as a House representative is just not the right way to, as any representative, is just not the right way to. We already had to deal with Donald. We shouldn't have to deal with Green as well. You know what I mean? So I'm
Okay.
hoping
Now, you opened up that kettle of fish about why nobody is talking about it. And I want to make a statement because I really feel somebody needs to say this.
mm,
For 12 years, the Republicans dismantled America piecemeal, more and more every session. They refused to pass things like the Voting Rights Act. They didn't want to pass the anti lynching bill. They fought against health care and things like pre K for kids, Head Start. They didn't want to fund Head Start. You know, we have to look at where we leave ourselves when we care less for those that we are responsible for and we care more for ourselves. Donald Trump was the only president that didn't have a dog or a cat in the last 100 years. Okay. And people have said we have never seen him around an animal because that would tell us what kind of person he was. Now, that's
mhm.
common sense. Look at what happened when the Bidens moved in. They had two dogs, a rescue dog that they got for their other dog to make sure that their
Doesn't
other
matter
dog.
if you have a dog or not. As like really,
I,
I'm
well, I
not.
want to I
I'm not
want to
a
make
pet.
a point with that. If
Go
you can
ahead.
get along with an animal which doesn't really speak your language but can sense your character and your intentions, animals are different than people. So if animals don't want to be around a person, and you can see from that person's past actions that they have no real humanity, their character just defaces anything to do with being human. That in itself would be a good indicator that you should not let a sociopath be in charge of a nation because they will then become a psychopath,
So when a
as we
dog,
have seen
when
happen.
an animal doesn't really care for you, dog or cat, that it says that you are a negative person. Is that what you say? But anyway, I'm not even gonna get. I'm not
Yeah,
even gonna get deep into that.
yeah,
I'm not gonna get deep
yeah.
into that. Okay, yeah, okay.
We could go into that another time, but
Well,
that is
I
a
guess
primary
I'm just not.
characteristic.
I guess I'm just not the one that is. I'm not a pet lover, so for all who is, kudos to them. I'm just not a pet lover. I'm not into dogs and cats. Worse, not in my home. So but anyway,
I don't have a
Because
dog
some
or
of
a
the
cat either, but
behavior,
I love them, and I definitely don't have any problems with them. Other people's dogs and cats, they smell me. I pet them. It's cool. We talk to each other. Hi, how you doing? But if I
okay,
know that that dog has a strange personality, I'm gonna keep my distance.
let's go to immigration because
Well,
we're definitely
let's continue with talking about corruption and about the
we're
thing that's
definitely
getting ready to come up.
we're
This
definitely going to be watching the 12 billion um funding, the 12 billion dollar worth of funds that has been missing for the coronavirus. The coronavirus $12 million fund, billion. So we want to know where that money went and what exactly is going to take place and what exactly is going to be done in regards to it. So, what else with the corruption you were saying? What other corruption?
the Republicans don't want to discuss it because they don't want to pass the Heroes Bill.
Okay.
They
All right.
also said that they don't need to send everybody money. Like,
Yeah, and Biden said that he was willing to negotiate on that. So he's willing to change a little bit on whom and whom will be getting the stimulus package of the $1,400. Now I'm wondering what the decision is going to be on whom is going to get it and whom is not. What type of category that you have to fall in order to get it,
they want it to be anybody $75,000 a year or less. That's stupid because you got truck
or
drivers that
less,
make that.
or less, not up.
Right. They say anybody that makes
$75,000.
75 or less should get it. I don't think that's
But
fair because I know some nurses that make 100 grand a year and they work hard.
yeah, they
They
work
work two
hard.
jobs.
Yeah, they work hard. But what I'm thinking, what I would feel is that they should really look at persons whom are impacted a lot on what is going on. I understand that the nurses work hard. All frontline persons work hard because, as myself, um, my organization is frontline, and I understand that. But what I'm looking at is persons that are really, really and truly not the ones who are sitting home and just want to collect unemployment or collect stimulus, but the ones who are really, really impacted, are losing their homes, are losing their vehicles, can't feed their children.
Right.
So for a nurse right now, yes, you're on the front line, and that is the job that we signed up for. And but financially you have not been impacted in that form of way because a lot of nurses pay has even doubled during this epidemic. And so I would more gear as to persons whom are really, really struggling. And how do we find that out, and how do we really know that they are really struggling, would be the icing, to make it all go.
How do we know?
How do we know? You know,
Well, there's two things that point to that, and one of them was from Janet Yellen saying, let's look at what was said by FDR when he created the Green New Deal. I mean, the Great Plan, which is basically this time's Great New Deal, Green Deal, whatever it is. He said we need to establish a floor for wages in this country that creates a living wage so that industry itself does not get outside of that and become the major earner instead of the worker. And you know what? We still wait because they won't institute a national livable human wage. How do you pay somebody $11 an hour when you know that they got to pay $1,000 a month rent, lights, heat?
that's a lot.
You know, it's
That's a
it
lot.
boggles the mind that you would create a system and then disable it. You
Yeah,
create all these jobs and then you don't want to pay the people to do the work, which means that you can't earn the money.
yeah.
Capitalism is a problem in itself because It's a non-refreshing cycle.
Mhm.
Now, that takes us into a different area that we want to get into, and that is this discussion about money laundering all over the world and criminal networks. And we have been talking about money laundering that was going on in the Caribbean. Last season, we talked about it's last season now, right? Last year's last season.
Mhm.
Okay. We have to work these things out sometime. We don't always know.
Okay, before you even go any further, we want to say like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Tell a friend and a friend that if they can't see us on on Facebook, they can most definitely get us on YouTube. So go over to our YouTube channel, DA Powerhouse Radio, and pull us up and just tell a friend, share the link, and next week I'll be able to share it properly and do what I'm supposed to do.
We
But
did
share
good.
and tell a friend and a family member that we are here each and every Thursday, and we're going to be live. All right. And also to check out the rest of the fantabulous programming right here on the Powerhouse Radio. You also have Let's Gripe on a Wednesday, Bishop Blair on a Saturday morning, 8 to 10. Yours truly, Lady D, from 12 to 4. And we're going to be going live on our YouTube channel. So spread the word and tell a friend and a friend and a family member once again. So we want to also once again big up all of our sponsors, Honey Child's Kitchen, One by One Kia, Hinkson Law Firm, Unique Total Care, Mystique Enterprise. You want to say big ups to each and everyone. And last week, Mama Acid, we had a special sponsor that called in, but we was unable to give them a shout out.
Oh,
You called me with what is
we're going to be doing some work with the Justice
oh
Project.
the Justice Project. So we
They
want to
are going to be helping us get and, well, receive tips and get people out of jail, we hope.
okay. So we want to say big up to the Justice Project, and we want to say big ups to the Justice Project, and thanks for the sponsorship and the lookout for us over here. Acid, I really want to touch because it's 7:34. We're only gonna be here until 9 o'clock, so we got a half an hour left, and we really need to touch into immigration. I want to
That's where I
thank
want to
you.
go on that corruption
That's where you're going,
and the
okay?
link.
And I want to big up each and everyone that's listening to us via the telephone lines 667-930-9036. For each and everyone that is tuning in via our
Live
website at
stream.
dapowerhouseradio.com. Whoever's also listening in via the tuning apps, we want to say big ups to you as well. So each and everyone that's listening, however you all are listening to us, we want to say big ups and thank you for the support. Thank you so much for the support. All righty, go right in there into the wind rush.
We got so much money sitting around in different places that doesn't belong to people that people are stealing. It really, really makes me wonder why we're not connecting this all back together because it's a cycle. The issue with deportation is happening all over the world to black people. I don't know any place that's deporting white people.
Okay.
So I've been trying to figure this out. I found one place that was deporting Asians, and that was in Africa for crime in Kenya. The Asians smuggle money, large amounts of money. They don't just do it every now and then, they do it constantly. It's like the thing that they do when they open up a business to make it possible for them to do it. They do it everywhere. So, what I'm saying is, I've been following this link for a while, and I started following it in Jamaica when I wanted to find out how they were smuggling and cleaning up this drug money. So, I had a tip, I'll call it, from someone in banking who suggested to me that I look back at immigration and consider that there's a large amount of money sitting on the table that can't be touched. So they need people to move it around in different ways. Now, we all know that we've been talking about Windrush and the whole immigration issue for about 2 years now. There is a woman who's an MP in British Parliament by the name of Priti Patel. I want to spell that Priti Patel. Minister Patel is the one who has been demanding all these deportations. Minister Patel has a serious issue with people that look like us, even though she's darker than both of us. So we have to consider the source of her anger.
Interesting.
Okay. I didn't really understand it until about a month ago when I found out that she was a child of a Middle Eastern immigrant to Uganda who was removed during Idi Amin, and she went to Britain.
So
Their family went to
what
Britain.
exactly is she doing? What is Priti Patel doing?
She is stirring up money pots all over the place and connecting them together. She has a way of being able to make things happen that other people can't. Because if you can make a bank just basically abandon property for someone because you give them a piece of paper, that means that you are a mover and a shaker. What I'm saying is, Pretty Patel actually licensed certain companies in Great Britain to resell the properties, I mean, the physical properties, and that means vehicles, land, um, businesses,
Mhm.
bank vaults that people have been deported. She said to the British Parliament, look at all this stuff just sitting there. The people are gone. We got to do something about this. So the banking people went to her first and they said, well, we could do liquidation and then we'll allow the government to get a certain portion of it, which, it could be sort of as a maintenance fee, more or less.
Okay.
Pretty Patel then sought out some well known liquidators, and the most well known liquidators are Asian, Chinese, in fact.
Okay.
They went in and they bought everything that they could. We didn't quite understand how they were getting rid of stuff, but then it became apparent. Once you've been deported, you forfeit everything that you left. That means you have no further claim to any of your own property. It doesn't matter if you own that house outright for, 2 generations. Once you've been deported, the title reverts back to the state, and the state then auctions it off and takes the proceeds. So if we want to talk about what's really going on with Pretty Patel, I want to boil it down and say that Andrew Holness and her had lunch together. Let me see the look on your face.
They had lunch together.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what exactly can be done for all the persons whose assets and properties, all of these things that they're when they be deported, especially when it's legitimate, especially when they acquired everything that they got legitimately, worked hard, did what they ought to have done legally. Or is there such a thing as legally when you're illegal?
No, that's the point. This is a setup. It's a big bag, a big bag. So we really about to box with the big boys. Folks think we've been talking about some bad boys up to now. We about to talk about international criminals on the size that we can't even figure out. There's no word for the amount of money. They're beyond oligarchs.
Okay. I'm hoping I sound a little bit louder.
Yeah,
I've
you
been
sound
getting,
great.
I've been getting a couple of texts saying I need to sound a little bit louder. So I bucked myself all the way up there. So I'm hoping that I sound a little bit better. Please let me know if I sound much better. They're saying you're fine, acid, but I'm low. So I'm hoping I'm sounding a little bit louder right now because I bucked it. I bucked it all the way.
There we go.
Ah, I bucked it all the way. Um,
So the Chinese, okay, we know how much they have been tunneling underneath Caribbean economies for a while, but we didn't really realize that it was connected up this big to Great Britain because I don't think in the past we really looked at it the same way. We didn't look at these big Chinese investment firms buying up all this real estate in the same way. Well, I got an even bigger cookie that I'm gonna try to throw on the table because I'm fishing through some trash. This trash told me 666 Fifth Avenue in New York, which is owned by Jared and Ivanka Kushner,
mhm.
was partially mortgaged last year and the year before to two different Chinese leverage firms.
Okay.
Now, let me see how that ties in.
Mhm.
You got to
You
understand that
know
when
I'm gonna
you
go there,
that
and then
cash starts flowing like that and it starts locking up hands.
wow.
Right before then, Ivanka Trump wanted to get these licenses for her products in China because they're the largest market in Asia and they export goods everywhere. I mean, everywhere. This is the funny thing about it. She couldn't get it before her father became president. And then after her husband and the Chinese investors made this deal, suddenly her products got licensed, where
Mm.
she had been waiting so long for this to happen. You know, people don't throw money into a hole in the ground usually, unless, of course, they know that something in the ground is going to catch it and hold it. So, my theory is this: the Chinese are getting ready to mess up the currency markets all over the globe. And I don't think it's going to have anything to do with counterfeiting. I think it's going to have to do with devaluation. Because right now, if you look at the largest investors in Caribbean resorts, Chinese.
Yeah, well, they've been the largest investors from when. So
No,
whatever they
that started in like the 90s. They started
yeah,
buying in slowly in the 90s. But what they're doing is they're using these companies as shell companies in order to do other things. So, the part about it that bothers me most is their connection with Caribbean governments. Why should they be having a meeting with Priti Patel in London and then Priti Patel is having a meeting with Andrew Holness in Kingston? But
we're
then again, we also left out one other meeting.
who's that?
Jared Kushner had a meeting with them in Beijing. The same people. They met with all of these three parties. So if
Okay.
we want to talk
Well,
about
with
currency
Jared them is
manipulation,
out of the White House now. So I don't think that they can make a lot of the promises. They can keep a lot of the promises that was already promised while they thought that they were going to win the election again when they were starting to meet a lot of these prime ministers and stuff from the Caribbean. So I'm wondering if it has much weight, but I think that we're gonna visit that a little bit.
it's got to go in with the Israelis. So that's how it all ties together, okay? It all ties together through Israel.
Okay,
This is not
so
a conspiracy. This is talking about how the United States has manipulated not just the currency market, but deportation, immigration, and also finance. They put it all together in one big package. And I started thinking about it the other day about why Donald Trump was so instrumental in this. he was the thing that made it happen. He was the one that was stupid enough to allow all these things to happen, and then they could just basically disappear. They basically folded up their tents and left in the middle of the night.
You see?
I wondered for a while, about the whole connection with the financial market and why the Caribbean was a target. And then I found out that the Caribbean has the largest amount of deportees that had wealth from Britain. So, in order to be able to capture all of that money, that free, fresh money, they
Uh-huh.
had to make some deals.
Okay.
I'm starting to wonder, did some of them people that made them deals end up in political offices?
Ooh, interesting.
Notice I'm looking in close. That
Interesting.
should tell you that I got some things that I'm looking at.
Okay.
So when we're talking about corruption right now, we're talking about corruption on a scale that we have yet to be able to investigate, mostly because we haven't tried to step into that arena. But it's important right now to look at it because the way that money is being spent in such large quantities, and now this international pandemic is shifting cash all over the globe, and all these people are now crossing hands because these vaccines, they're now talking about the whole problem of the vaccines not being available to developing nations. China now wants to take its vaccines to Africa. United States ain't sending none. Russia ain't sending none. Can
So
we
China
can we
want
can we think about this for a little while?
wait a minute. China want to take its vaccines where?
All over Africa. Look, they said they would go to South Africa, which has the most dangerous and virulent strain right now of COVID-19. They said, we'll send scientists, we'll send a lab, and we'll send the regeneration so that you can be able to produce your own vaccine right there. We'll help you get set up. The World Health Organization, they've been begging them for it. And finally, when the Chinese told them that they would do it, the South African government is like, thank you, because the South Africans are asking anybody to help them. And so right now, with these major global powers hoarding the virus vaccine, that's a problem because that is money too. You got to understand that we trying to find out what happened to all that vaccine that Donald Trump supposedly bought that was supposed to be used that's not there. And all the money that disappeared because the vaccine wasn't purchased. See,
Oh,
this is a lot of money. This is a problem. This is
it's a
a
lot of money.
major
$12
theft.
billion is a lot of money. But we're gonna elaborate a little bit more on that next week
Yeah, we'll do that.
because we have 10 minutes left to go. It
Oh
is
yeah, we got to talk about that girl getting maced.
yeah, we gotta talk about that. But I want to know about this citizenship disenfranchisement.
Okay, so now citizenship
Where
disenfranchisement and
when person
immigration,
who was illegal,
they deport you illegally.
uh-huh.
They have to then take you back. If it's going to actually work in the world court says you have to be returned back to where you were illegally deported. So even if that's not your home, they're supposed to take you back.
How do you know when you were illegally deported? That you was the legal illegally deported. Yeah,
Okay, here we go. This is
that's a
good.
very important question.
There are people who are facing deportation right now who have not received a trial. That's the first thing you have to get. You have to be charged with an offense, an immigration offense, before you can be deported. So if you commit another defense, which makes you guilty of an immigration defense waiver, they can then say, well, this person deserves another chance. They don't do that with Caribbean people anywhere. They do that with Europeans, okay, or if you got a lot of money. That's why people that come to this country that go to jail that are from other countries don't get deported. An example of that is that woman, Ghislaine Maxwell, that's
Mhm.
in jail that was hooked up with Jeffrey Epstein. She
Yeah.
became an American citizen because she married an American citizen.
Right. But I'm trying to figure out the the disenfranchised. Okay, if you've been deported
Okay, here
illegally.
we go. You live in England. I'm gonna give you the way it works. You
Yeah.
live in England. You are legally in England. You haven't done anything illegal to get there. You came there either as a child or you were born there and you came in legally. You came through the immigration system. You went to school, you went worked, you accumulated property, you got married, you had kids.
Mhm.
Then one day you do something and they go back and they say, you don't have British citizenship. So we're going to deport you. Boom. You don't have a deportation hearing because they don't consider you a citizen. This is why we want privy court gone.
Okay, but that's on the end of that's on the ends more of England. Let's
Now,
let's
America.
let's talk about America.
America's
Yeah,
another whole kind of scorpion.
yeah, but I like the scorpions. Sometimes the sting is good. So
So
for
if you get
citizens of
arrested
yeah,
and you have a US passport or a green card or you're a legal citizen,
yeah,
you are supposed to go through immigration court. You have to see a judge who orders your deportation. If
right.
if you have not been convicted of a crime that falls on that list of deportable offenses, they can't deport you. Two things. You have to, one, have committed a felony that is on that list. And then two, when you commit the felony, you then have to go before an immigration judge. And the immigration judge has to make a decision on if you're going to be deported. And if the judge does not see you, they are
Mhm.
not supposed to deport you. You're supposed to be seen physically by a judge.
So
These days it could be
is
on
this
camera,
something
but you
where
have to go to court before they can deport you.
is
If
this
they
something
deport
where
you without you
Biden
going to court, it's because you
uh-huh.
went from prison.
Okay. So for persons whom this may have happened to, now they have been deported. What exactly would be the recourse of that? I mean, like what
According to the International Criminal Courts, which the United States does not recognize their stand on this, which is one of the things that we really need to start lobbying right now with the Biden administration since they are doing all this immigration work. We have to get them to change that. We need them to change that for two reasons. One, we need them to change it because they are just using it as a mass tool to just exclude people who haven't even really committed a deportable crime.
Mhm.
Okay. Then the second thing is we have to start demanding mandatory expungement of records after a certain period of time. Like, why would you have a person being deported because they committed a crime when they were 17 years old and now they're 42 and they haven't done anything other than get a traffic ticket?
Right.
That should be totally unrelated. So that expungement is everything. So until these expungements become mandatory and these district attorneys become required to perform these manifesting freedoms,
And you're talking
because
about
that's the manifestation of freedom paperwork right there. That is manifest destiny.
mhm.
You get my point?
Yeah. I
If
want to say
you
big
if
ups
you're
to you,
there
Don as well. Okay. Uh-huh.
and they say, well, you were in the car with this person and this person was driving dangerously. So we're just going to charge you because you were with them.
Mhm.
I wasn't driving. But when you were 19, you may have stole a car, but I wasn't driving. What does that have to do with this? Well, it
Mhm.
wasn't expunged, so we see it.
But
So
are
we
we
need to
talking about
start.
expungements of just missile felonies or misdemeanors, or it doesn't
A
matter?
high misdemeanor is a minor felony. So they can do a high misdemeanor, Listen to a high misdemeanor. A high misdemeanor would be driving and having a gun in your possession if you a felon or the gun is unregistered.
Okay.
Because the gun charge supersedes, it becomes a federal charge, even though it was not the reason that they stopped you. They stopped you because you was driving 120. But when they searched you, they found a gun. So the gun then becomes the issue more than the reason that they stopped you. So
Mm-hmm.
they can deport you for some ignorance like that, which is why you need to get these expungements done. So we need to start talking en masse to all attorney generals of every state. We need them to understand, as well as the people in the corrections departments and immigration, that they cannot deport people because of felonies that were committed when they were juveniles, or even, and you, if you 7 years after a felony has been, you've served your time, the
Yeah.
felony is not supposed to be on your record. You should have your voting rights restored, all of that. There are certain states where they don't even want to restore voting rights to felons who have served the time that was required.
Right, because we already reasoned on that as far as the when you serve your time and being able to vote and
Your freedom.
so on. And we're going to get a little bit more on that because we want to next week we want to go deep into the immigration, and I'm thinking about possibly inviting an immigration attorney on
Might be
that,
good.
enlighten us a little bit more even as to the some of the new laws and things that Biden and his administration is working on. So we're going to be definitely, that's what we're going to work on. Next week, we're going to have a live immigration attorney on with us to reason with us as to the laws and stuff like that for
Hmm.
tasing. We didn't even get to the murder
We
that
got a
occurred
minute. We
in
can
church,
do it.
the murder that occurred in church, and all of this thing now that has been going on all over the radio. I mean, the internet. That where is God and why weren't God there? Why God didn't stop him from killing her? And are I just think it's just a sad day in Jamaica. Um, Not that it hasn't happened all over the world, because this is a tragedy that has happened all over the world. But for the spiritualness of Jamaica, it is a it is a big sad day, slap in the face, um, in Jamaica right now to know that how bold this person is to walk into the house of the Lord and to kill a person inside of
He
there.
could have waited until she got out of church,
He could have waited until she got out of church.
but he didn't need to kill her anyway.
He didn't need to
He
kill her,
did
period.
that
We
for he
don't
did
condone
that for
none
the
of that
purpose of
for
demonstration of his evil.
yeah. And no matter whatever was taken away or whatever, which is an atrocity if that is true. She should, you can't have people, children, and just throw them out and don't assist with all of the hoopla that's going on the on
Money
the
is the root of all evil.
money is the root of all evil. But if he was going to do it, you didn't have to do it in the house, And for Jamaica, such a religious place, it's like, whoa, you know, the government, the churches, everything is taking a different look as to even carrying firearms and getting security now for themselves. So next week we're going to touch on where are we really and truly safe at? Is there really a safe house? Because we're basically a lot of we're not safe in our homes. We're not safe on the streets.
Oh
A
yeah,
lot of
we safe in our homes.
in
Some
our
other
homes.
people might not be.
But on the church is supposed to be the most sacred place. And if we're not even safe in church, then that's a discussion to be had.
Safe according to
So,
who? Who said church is supposed to be the most safe? They were the ones who convinced people in Africa to sell other people that they had captured in war.
ouch. All right, we're
Okay,
gonna
and then if we're going to talk about that, then we must talk about the slave Bible
okay. All right. Well, we're gonna
in
touch
Black
that
History
next
Month.
week.
I
How about
ranting.
that next week? Next week we're gonna get deeper.
But we got to
Real
talk about
quick,
that little girl. We
real
got to
quick,
just say
we're
a
gonna touch
minute
the little
about
girl
that little girl.
real quick. Because we don't even have a minute left, but we're gonna take the minute. A
This
9 year old.
should not have
How are you
happened
pepper
to.
spraying a 9 year old? And then it could have been de-escalated, I think, quicker
It was 6 police
because
officers. I counted them.
it could have been de-escalated because the
They
young
were
girl kept
ignoring the
crying for
mother.
their mother. She kept crying for her dad. She said, "Just let me talk. I want to talk to my dad. Let her talk to her dad."
All I can say is that woman who was threatening her, the big fat white police woman who told the other guys told her, "That's okay, I got her." And he sprayed the girl. When I saw
Yeah,
his
but
arm,
he said it. The one of the police officers said, "Let's just spray her. Just spray her.
right.
Just spray a 9 year old. When is
But
it
wait,
not
I
okay?"
got better question than that. Who gonna drive the car?
Let me take a
That's a
sip.
contained vehicle. You're not getting in there unless, of course, you want to choke like she did. Okay, that was beyond assault. That was beyond assault. Okay,
That is
that
beyond
should
assault,
be
and
felony. That
I'm
was a
really, really
felony
hoping.
against a child, and they qualified immunity should not count in this case.
I'm
And they
hoping
did.
they
Did they
charge.
arrest the cop that killed Al Miller? Did they arrest him? I think they arrested him for murder, or did they fire him? What happened?
I don't know.
I believe they arrested him, but he gotta be more than arrested. He gotta go.
For this little 9 year old girl, I'm hoping that charges are drawn up against them. I'm hoping that grand jury finds them guilty of abuse because that was downright straight up abuse and neglect of not even trying in some form of way to comfort her by being a child and being hysterical. And from what was said, that she was threatening to kill herself or something to that effect, and the mom.
She wasn't
So
threatening to kill nobody. She was saying she was gonna hurt herself, and they should have
herself.
had a psychologist come out,
Okay, so we're gonna get deep into that as well.
defund the police. But
We're gonna talk,
last word, I
but we
got to
want them
say
to
this.
understand that defunding the police is not cutting back on the police force. It's to redirect the funding.
Right.
Because and we touch that a lot, and we need to really reiterate it constantly to the listeners so that a lot of persons can really understand the concept of
Yeah.
defunding the police, because a lot of persons are thinking defunding the police, and the way that a lot of the Republicans was throwing it out there was as if they were trying to not have enough police force there to oversee crime or whatever. It's just the monetary part of it that defunding is going on. But it's 8:04 on the powerhouse clock. And last words, acid.
I'm glad Roddy Bryant is losing his house, and I hope he loses truck and he loses toilet paper too. And they never let him out of jail, and they move it to another county to have it closer to where people know Ahmaud Arbery.
Oh my goodness.
Get what you're serving.
You get what you're serving. Well, my last words to each and every one is to wash your hands, social distancing. Okay, wear your mask. Right now, they're recommending 2 masks versus one. When they had said one, I was wearing two. And now that they said two, I'm wearing three. So make sure that you all take care of yourselves. Really, really take care of yourselves. We ask that each one of you, we love each and every one of you. Spread the word that we are up now on our YouTube channel. So that you all could definitely log on and tell a friend and a friend and a family member. Share the links. We ask for all of the listeners who are listening on our telephone line 667-930-9036. Want to say big ups to you. And yeah, we should be getting on our Instagram as well. So just spread the word. We're gonna be all over. We're gonna be, oh my God, tired of it. See with fears. Can't get me out of the race. Oh, man, said I'm in your place. Oh, okay. But anyway, Reggae Month, Black History Month. Did you have a Black History Month something to say, Acid?
Yeah, something I want to suggest to some followers we won't call by name. Stop saying woke, stop saying wig, stop saying shook. Don't say words that are not appropriate from your community. Use your community vocabulary, leave ours alone.
Now they're gonna say that's racist. They're
I
gonna
didn't say nothing about
they're
racism.
gonna say
I
words
said community.
are words.
I didn't say the white Jamaican can't speak patois. He must speak patois all day in a seat, boy. I love him. I follow that boy
love,
anywhere. Me
I
what a
love
dare
you guys.
find.
I love you guys. We're gonna leave out as how we came in. Reggae, 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 reggae. How about we touch the
Damn,
same?
might not.
Yeah, how about some Don? How about
Woo!
some Don? How about some Don? Want to say big up to Don Minot as well. Big ups to you, Don, and thanks for always
I know you
supporting
ain't gonna play
the
next door
brand.
neighbor, are you?
Huh?
You ain't
You
gonna
want
play next door neighbor, are you?
to neighbor? Are you just
Special dedication from Mama Acid to Don Minot. Where you
Don?
at, Don?
Don, did
When
you
I
hear
see
what
you,
I
where
said?
you there?
Oh my goodness. You loving next
We
door.
love Don Minot, one of the best voices of this generation, and something that everybody can learn to love. A voice like Don Minot don't come in every generation, but this generation is blessed to have one.
Love you all. This is the big man himself, Mr. Don Minot. And he says, next door neighbor. Acid, do you got a next door neighbor?
I got two of them, and I would like to lift up my house above them. Next time I buy a house, it's going to be in the middle of a lake.
Later. Loving her. Be sure
Bless
to
up.
tune in right
Happy
here
Black
Saturday
History Month.
morning from 8 a.m. with Bishop Lyric Gospel Explosion. All right, here we go. Leaving out with Don.
She said she couldn't sleep, not a peep, so she had to come over. Why look you know, why
Look
what
at
a thing, why look you know, why she said she heard some sweet reggae music
Yes.
out of my place. And if I have a little ital stew left over, she would have loved a little taste.
Woo.
I told her I don't drink nor do I smoke. She said no bother, take this for a joke.
Don't take
I
it
just
for the
wanna
joke.
spend the night and leave just before the morning light.
Why Look you know. Why Look at him. Happy reggae month. Happy Black History Month. Boy, Acid, you doing a white people dance.